I think there's definitely something to be said about going out on top or just going out on your own terms. That's gonna make it feel like it's the right decision. To me, I don't want to wait to the point where I'm so broken that I can't qualify, or, I think all the time you see people not qualify and then they get injured the next year because they're just trying so hard to make it back. I don't want that to be me, and so I feel kind of like physically and mentally it's the right time, and it's okay if people don't necessarily understand that. Time for me to move on and, grow in other aspects of my life and do other things, and I'm ready for that. All right, about to spend the day at the gym, so just trying to be prepared for anything I might need. And then if I'm ever in like a bind, Chick-fil-A is down the street and I can actually come up with some decently healthy options there.
In 15 and 16, she seemed to have a really hard time recovering. I don't know if that had more to do with the events or just in general, but it seemed that once we were in a more regimented meal plan, that it was a lot easier for her to recover during the 17 games.
This year we've kind of just been going off of how my body feels, how can I keep my joints healthy. So I haven't been doing as much lifting. We used to do a lot of this kind of like CP battery, barbell cycling type of stuff with short rests in between. So it feels good to get back into it. My body feels good today. I would say my biggest observation, every year is kind of a learning experience and you build off the previous year. But I would say in general, CrossFitters think that they're gonna lose all their fitness in like 1 or 2 days, and that's like completely not true. As long as you're maintaining a base, your strength will come back up really quickly. And I've learned that you just need to train smarter, and not everybody needs to train for 8 hours a day. And maybe some people do need that, I don't know. But I think kind of, if you're having fun, you're doing a good job, and then if you're having intensity every time you do approach a workout, you're doing a good job. I've always been conscious of what I was eating and portion sizes and stuff like that, but I didn't realize how many fats I was eating and not enough carbs. And then I still have to very consciously be aware of how much protein I'm eating per day, otherwise I won't eat enough. And I can pretty easily go over my fats as well. So yeah, it was a change. I thought I was a little bit more aware than I actually was. So just balancing it out a little bit over the past year. Chicken enchiladas are one of our favorites. They've got a good fajita chicken bowl that I eat a lot for lunch. Go with salmon pretty often. We switch it up week to week, but we have our favorites. I work with a food company called Eat Fit Go, and most of our meals are packaged and they come with macros on them. So this one, I'm about to heat up some chicken enchiladas. It's 450 calories, 25 grams of protein, 49 carbs, and 18 fats. So pretty balanced, and then I'm just gonna add some extra carbs in because I haven't gotten too many today yet, with peppers and some strawberries and blackberries. Lately, we've been trying to eat a lot more vegetables. So just trying to keep vegetables in the house. We always have meals, but they don't necessarily come with a whole bunch of colorful vegetables. We used to get Chipotle like once a week, and we still eat Chipotle pretty regularly. But my order definitely changed after starting to count my macros. I used to do like the same bowl with cheese, sour cream, and salad dressing, and so that was like way too many fats. So I had to cut out the sour cream and the cheese, and I'll still use a little bit of dressing as some fats. But it's still just as good. Maybe one day I'll splurge and add back the sour cream. Probably my biggest composition changes were in the first month or two that I started counting my macros, and then now to me it looks fairly the same. Basically, I don't do it for like to look lean or anything like that. It's strictly just like, can I recover better from day to day? So, and even like the days where I feel bigger, like I'll look at pictures from 3 years ago and I'm like, oh wow, I'm like way leaner. I've gained a few pounds since last year, but it hasn't really changed anything. So at first I was all paranoid about it, but I feel like I've put on some muscle mass, so that's good. The system that WAG uses, you can compare photos like from week to week, so that's kind of cool. Just because like, if you look at a photo itself, you're like, yeah, it looks the same. But if you compare them side by side, you can see little differences. I feel like if you're too lean, your chances of injuries are greater, but that's kind of just in my own head. So I don't have any proof of that for myself. But I think like going into the CrossFit Games, you definitely want to be probably the leanest you've been all year. Leanest and strongest. Somebody was telling me that they serve the same amount of alcohol at the Masters as they do at like a UGA football game.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. Weekends are a little bit more laid back. During the fall, Adi was giving me Saturdays off, so where I didn't have to track, but I also wasn't allowed to just go overboard. So, I mean, if I'm gonna have alcohol, it'll be on a Saturday. And then eating wise, it stays relatively the same. I mean, it's more about like, am I eating moderately? And obviously tracking your macros, that's the whole idea, is being able to stay balanced and not say, I'm never gonna eat a piece of pizza again, but making it fit in throughout the day. We stayed up in Wisconsin after the games this year because Ben's family's from there. But I mean, we went pretty crazy for like that week. And I think I gained like 5 or 6 pounds in a week. But I mean, that's not hard to do when you've been tracking and training, and I think it's like natural inflammation from a week at the games. I can't imagine just like continuing on that for a month at a time. I mean, routine is good for me. Training is good. But then, I mean, I would say for a few weeks after the games, I was pretty lax, and then got back on it.